Unit 15, equal spacing. Okay, so if you open up your book to Unit 15, I am on page 58 in the Mathematics for Plumbers and Pipe Fitters book. What we're going to be doing today is a build of what we started doing in last time's assignment. So I'm looking at the sample problem, and it says we've got 4 different fittings, and the distance from center to center is 20 5/16 inches. So just to kind of show you what that's meaning is from here all the way to here, the center to center distance is 20 5/16 inches. What we specifically want to know is how long is this piece center to center, how long is this piece center to center, and how long is this piece center to center. And there's a key word. They tell us that it is divided into 3 equal spaces. So we know that each of those 3 spaces are going to be the same distance center to center. Now let's talk about the fittings that we have. This is a 90-degree fitting, and we are using, let's see, did they tell us what type of pipe we are using? I don't know that it did tell us what type of pipe, so we're just going to use 1/2-inch pipe. I'm going to write that on here. Let's suppose that we have 1/2-inch pipe, and we're going to do it for all 3. We're going to do it for threaded, copper, and we'll do PVC as well, just so we know we can do all of them. Okay, so back to the fittings. We can see we have 2 90-degree fittings, and I have just highlighted both of them, and I meant to do them both in red. Now, these inner fittings, these are actually 90-degree fittings as well. Okay, so our takeoffs are going to be the same as if they were 90s. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to take 20 5/16 and we're going to divide into 3 equal parts. So step 1, we're going to take 20 5/16 and we're going to divide into 3 equal parts. And so what I am doing is I'm just using my construction calculator, and I'm literally just typing that in. If you don't have a construction calculator, your life's going to be a little bit more difficult today. I really suggest you download an app or go buy one. And this is giving me, I don't like the fraction it's giving me because it's doing it in 48, so I'm going to use it as a decimal, 6.77 inches. So that tells me that from here to here is 6.7 inches, from here to here is 6.77 inches, and from here to here is 6.77 inches. Now in the back of your book, remember you have data table 1. You can convert decimals into fractions. So I'm going to see what 6.77 is. And 77 is really close to 0.75, which is 3/4. So this is really the same thing as like 6 3/4 inches. Okay, so now we're ready to do our takeoffs. The first one we're going to do is threaded. So for threaded, I'm going to do my 6 3/4 takeoff. Now I go to the table in the back of my book. This is data table 5, and data table 5 is on page 264. I'm going to write it up at the top. Data table number 5, page 264. That's where I'm getting my takeoffs. So I'm looking at a 1/2-inch pipe, 90-degree fitting. So I need to take off 1 1/8 from this fitting. And then this is considered to be a 90-degree fitting as well. So I'm also taking off 1 1/8 there. Now remember, with threaded, you have to add back your threads. And if I look at the table, it's a 1/2 inch. So on the first fitting, I'm adding back a 1/2 inch. And on the second fitting, I'm adding back a 1/2 inch. So in my construction calculator, here I go. I am typing 6 3/4, take off 1 1/8, take off 1 1/8, and then I'm adding back a 1/2 inch and a 1/2 inch, which is technically a total of 1, and that is giving me 5 1/2 inches. So that's how long my pipe actually needs to be from end to end in order to get a center to center measurement of 6 3/4. So this from end to end needs to be 5 1/2. Now this is pretty nice because I don't have to sit here and solve all of these because these are all between 90 and a 90, between 90 and a 90. So I get 5 1/2. Okay, now let's do copper, number 2. I know it's 6 3/4 from end to end, minus, my pipe is between two 90s, so from data table 5, I go to 1/2 inch pipe, copper, 90-degree takeoff is 3/8, so I do 3/8 per fitting. So in my construction calculator, I'm typing 6 3/4 minus 3/8 minus 3/8, and I get a total of 6 inches. So if I were to use copper pipe and fittings, I would need to have end to end 6 inches. And now PVC. 6 3/4 minus, looking in the data table number 5, the takeoff for a 90-degree 1-inch pipe is 9/16. And I gotta do it for both of those fittings. So now in my calculator, 6 3/4, take off 9/16 minus 9/16, I get 5 5/8 inches. And so when you do your assignment today, I've asked you to create tables to show your work or to show your answers. So this is kind of what your table would look like. Let's say that our pipes were labeled by letter. And so let's say this is pipe J, this is pipe K, this is pipe L. So in our table, we would have pipes J, K, and L. And we know from center to center, they are all 6 3/4. And this wants to know what the threaded end to end would be. The copper end to end. And the PVC end to end. Well, threaded was 5 1/2, and because J, K, and L were all between 90-degree fittings, luckily these answers are all the same. Copper was 6 inches, and PVC was 5 5/8. Okay, I've asked you to show your work. This right here is what I mean by show your work. Because a lot of times students will get things wrong and they're like, what did I do wrong? Well, if you show your write down what you're plugging into your calculator, I could see what might be your error. If you don't write down and you just write the answers, I have no idea what you did. Okay, we're going to try another one. I used some art skills here. We have 2 pipes. And let's say that this first one is pipe J, and let's say that this second one is pipe K. And we know that the total, right here, distance is 4 feet, 6 1/2 inches. Now, I like to turn everything into inches just because the takeoffs are only in inches. So my first step, I am going to convert 4 feet, 6 1/2 inches to all inches. So 4 feet is 48 inches, Plus you have 6.5 more, so 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54 and a half. Your construction calculator also can convert that for you. If you type in 4 foot 6.5 inches and then hit convert inch, it'll do it for you. So, we have divided into 2 equal pieces. So I am going to divide 54 and a half by 2 because we have J and we have K. So 54 and a half divided by 2 equals 27.25 inches, which is the same thing as 27.25 inches. So I'm going to write that up in here. J is 27.25 inches and K is 27.25 inches. And that's from center to center. So that's from here to here. And K is from here to here. Okay. So I'm going to start out with threaded. Here we go. Threaded. And for pipe J, we're going to have 27.25 take off. Now we've got to look at our fittings. This first fitting is a 45-degree fitting, and this second fitting is a 90-degree fitting. So, in my table, I'm looking up 3/8 inch pipe, because right here they tell us we have 3/8 inch pipe. So, in my book, 3/8 inch pipe, 45-degree fitting, I'm taking off 3/4. My other fitting is a 90, which is a 1-inch takeoff. And I have to add back my threads. Now, you guys, you'll notice that a 3/8 inch pipe has a different thread in. It is 3/8 inch. So I've got to add it back 3/8 per fitting. So for pipe J, I'm plugging into my construction calculator here. I'm going 27.25, take off 3/4, take off 1 inch, and then I'm adding back 3/8 for one fitting and 3/8 for the other fitting. And that gives me a total of 26.25 inch. Okay, that is for J. Maybe I'll highlight that in red so we know J is red. Okay, now I've got to do K. So again, K is 27.25 inch. Take off. This time I have 2 90-degree fittings. So I'm taking off 1 and I'm taking off 1. But then I'm adding back 3/8 per fitting. So in the construction calculator, 27.25. Take off 1, take off 1. And then add back the threads, 3/8 on one plus 3/8 on the other. And that's giving me a total of 26 inches for K. And that would be for threaded. Okay, now trying copper. We know that pipe J is still 27.25. Take off. In my table, I'm going to 3/8. Pipe J has a 45 and a 90. So the 45 takeoff is 3/16 minus the 90-degree takeoff is 5/16. And copper is easier because we don't have threads to add back on. So in my construction calculator, I'm going 27.25. Take off 3/16. Take off 5/16. Which gives me 26.75. And this is for J. And now let's go back to K. K is 27.25 center to center.